Hey everyone, today we are going to take a look at the tier list for season 12. It's an early tier list, so things might change as the time goes by. As of this tier list, this is just my personal opinions on the heroes and how they're ranked. This obviously doesn't mean a lot of people will agree with it, or they might take another look at the tier list, which is completely fine. I'm just going to make a short video on this and basically explain some of the heroes and some of the tiers. So in the first tier we have SSS tier. This tier is basically the god tier. There's no heroes that can replace these heroes. These three heroes basically do everything and anything in the game. They're used everywhere and anytime basically, and there's no real replacement. There are small, maybe some replacements like Pandora replaced by Elisha, but the scaling isn't there quite, so it's nothing that you can actually be replaced. Like Hela is basically a Trupus, but Hela does it times or 3 times better. So I'm not going to go over the heroes in here. I'm just going to explain some of the heroes and why they're ranked lower than usual. So for example, Mulan. I don't think Mulan is actually S+ tier, but she's one of the best heroes in the early game at just 7 stars. She clears a lot of Celestial Trials, she clears the Rift Odyssey. That's the only reason why she's S+, because eventually she falls off and you have no real usage of her. She's mid tier in PvP, she becomes mid tier in PvE. And as I said, it's only the early fame that carries her because she really is OP in the early game but falls off really hard. Another example would be Eudora. I think Eudora is really strong, but she has just been power gapped and power creeped a lot. She's still a priority because you still do need her and you still want her for PvP and some occasional PvE, especially in the Rift Odyssey, but then again, she is not as strong as she used to be, but that's completely understandable. She's basically as old as the game itself, and just to be standing in the S tier in my opinion is still amazing because she didn't still get power creeped unless the new Arcane Dorabella does it, which would be completely fine in my opinion. The next heroes that are not ranked on the correct tier in my opinion are Narissa, Isis and Althea. These three heroes are mainly PvP gods, but they're struggling in any PvE really, apart from Tombs, which doesn't really count in the tier list ranking in my opinion. Yeah, the Narissa, Althea and Isis are like S to S+ tier, depends on the meta and depends on the scenarios, but in this overall tier list they're S- because they're not that exceptional in the PvE. Tsukayumi might be S tier in the overall tier list because she is actually really decent, especially in the early game. I have a theory that you can build Tsukayumi in the early game now that she's in the event selectors, and you can purchase her one copy from the Oracle shop and take the free copy from the event selector and get yourself an early 7-star Tsukayumi, which should be able to clear a lot of content, but I will try to test this in the week where we get the event, which should be week 4 to week 5. Another hero that I think I have misplaced is Tiamat. I think Tiamat could be S tier hero actually. She's popping off a lot in the late game PvE and she's quite good in the PvP. Her issue is Mystifiers are pretty terrible in the PvP, so, and her kid being sort of tied to them makes her quite sad in my opinion, because she's a really unique and really good hero, just suffers from the synergies. As for the heroes such as Lilith, Hecate and Shang, I think they're good heroes, but they're too niche and they're like not top 5 foggy teams or world arena teams, they're more like filler teams. Hecate might be back because the accuracy is back, so she might be on the verge of comeback, but again her striker synergy is terrible. Same goes for the Lilith, like she's a really good hero that has no place in the meta teams. You can fit her as a filler hero and she might perform, but she's nobody that you can reliably play around, if that makes sense. At least not in my opinion. Other heroes in the A+ tier are mostly the World Arena fillers. They're occasionally good in PvE, but they're mostly just World Arena fillers. They're okay, but yeah. Apart from that, Atrupus is S+ tier in PvE, but she's in the overall tier list A+ because her any PvP that includes her will be bad. The A tier heroes are basically just solid fillers for the 9th World Arena team or the Clash teams. They're not amazing, they're not as bad, but yeah. A- is these heroes, heroes such as Lee. Lee is a great hero in my opinion, a very unique hero that's based around dodging and countering with basic attacks, but his issue is he has no seasonal synergy. So despite being a Galorian and the Monarch, he has no seasonal synergy, which makes him hard to fit in majority of the teams. Unlike Argdina is a pretty bad hero, but she has an amazing seasonal synergy, so you can actually use her in tournament and in the world arena even, because nethers are pretty broken and she's an Avenger, so she pairs with a lot of Avengers, nethers that, or rather Arcanists, not nethers, they're not nethers anymore. But yeah, same for Diachan, she's actually Arcanist and she pairs with Avengers really nicely. Dorabella in the B tier, she's fallen off because Pandora power creep really hit hard and her boss's damage with the runes is not really as amazing as it used to be, so it's just Pandora now. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think the other heroes are fine in the tier they are. You might find twins confusing in the S-, but I think a lot of people really underestimate twins. Twins are really good heroes if you have a good base of damage dealers around them, and their Arcanist or other Nether synergy is amazing as well. Leandra is actually slightly better now after the buffs. The buffs were pretty decent and they're felt, so Leandra quite good, might be on the rise again. And yeah, I think that's about it, really. Not much to say apart from that. The Dorabella ranking is speculate. I'm not sure if she will end up being S+, it's just speculation based around her kit. She might end up lesser, she might end up higher, we will see how it goes in the week 5. And yeah, that's about it really. So this is my overall tier list for season 12, early tier list if you want to call it. Yeah, if you have another takes, that's completely fine. Everyone has a different view on this game, different opinions, and yeah, if you want to look at the more in-depth and why the heroes are ranked such, you can go check out my Google link in the profile. It's basically a Google Sheet. You open it, you go to the tier list, and you will see each hero ranked in every single game mode. That is pretty relevant. And yeah, that's about it, so see you in the next one.